they are, and yet some are still being denied the proper permits to help our coronavirus fight. Even that said, as a general proposition, I've never heard of another story like this, okay? Our next guest is facing a really weird hurdle. She's been denied a green card despite helping ICU patients at Columbia University Medical Center. And that does no justice to her story, and that's why we have her tonight. She goes by Dr. J. Welcome to Primetime. Help those of us who struggle with Italian names. How do you say your full name, Doctor?
Well, thanks for having me. In English, I just say Iafredi. It's the easiest way to pronounce it. And in Italian, it's Iafrate.
All right.
So whatever's comfortable for people.
Now, you are from Canada. You've been here a long time. You went to medical school here. You were trained at the Mayo Clinic. You volunteer for the U.S. ski team to help them. You volunteer to help a lot of dancers that work at major companies here in New York City. You are highly certified. You lecture all over the place. How did you come to be spending 12-hour shifts dealing with COVID patients in the ER?
Obviously, COVID kind of attacked this city really quickly, and NYP Columbia, which is where I normally work, asked for volunteers. We had to close down our outpatient clinics, and they asked for volunteers to go to the front lines, and I offered my services right away.
Why?
Because I'm a doctor, because that's what I do, because I know that I can help. And when there's a situation where I think somebody's in need, I always offer my services. It's just the way I was raised. It's the way I've always been.
Now, we met through a CNN colleague or former colleague. You came here to watch the show with another doctor, and you helped me figure out what was wrong with my neck. And then we're on social media, and then I saw you doing this volunteer work. And I said, well, what's going on here? And you were blown away by what you were seeing in the hospital. And you became very passionate about how precarious our situation is. What are you seeing, and why do you feel that way?
I mean, it's scary. It's this unidentifiable assailant. You can't see it. There's people are coming in and requiring help, and then just pummeling downhill really quickly and really aggressively. And because we have not really seen anything like this before, it's hard for us to know exactly what we should be doing and when. So initially I was in the ER helping out. And then once we had so many patients that were requiring ventilators, we had to move them, some of them into our ORs and turn the ORs into ICUs. And so my team got redeployed over into the OR ICU about 2.5 weeks ago. And so that's where I've been up until now.
How much tragedy?
A lot. People that are young, people that are old, it doesn't matter. Some with comorbidities, some not, some that look like they should be otherwise healthy. And it's just, it's wearing away at us. The PTSD is real for sure. I think there's a lot of physicians, nurses, medical staff that are going to be hurting for a long time after this, just because of what we see every day.
Now, excuse me for this level of analysis, but you didn't sneak into the country. You're not undocumented. You're not an illegal, as is in our political process or parlance now. You have sponsorship through the hospital, but you applied for a green card. And in the middle of this, it gets turned down. They don't give you any better reason than you didn't prove that you represent any unique value to the United States. And when I heard this, it kind of blindsided me, because other than being from Norway, you seem to be exactly who the president has said he wants in this country. What did you make of the idea that you didn't fit the bill of presenting unique value to this country with the volunteering for the ski team and with helping all the dancers and all of the credentials and the lecturing all over the country, and now spending a month of your life, 12 hours a day that you didn't have to fight for the people of this country?
Yeah, I mean, I was blindsided. I was flabbergasted, and so was my immigration lawyer, and so was my chair of my department, and everyone else involved in this case. They ask you to be an expert in your field. When you apply for a national interest waiver, which is the type of green card I applied for, you're supposed to be an expert in your field. And I am. And I've proven that time and time again. And I was just blown away that at this time of all times, they don't think it's necessary to have somebody like me here, or they don't think I'm worth keeping here for some reason because I didn't prove a specific endeavor that I undertake.
Now, I know you're waiting on an appeal. I know there are more steps, but emotionally, what is the hardest thing in accepting where you are right now?
I mean, it's heart-wrenching. I feel helpless, honestly, and I can say that's the first time in my life that I've ever felt helpless. I, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I could have done better. I don't know what I could have done any differently. Um, I'm putting my life on the line every day to do this, and it's just it's blowing my mind right now that they are not appreciating it, or they don't see the value in what I'm offering to do here, and I'm honestly beside myself. It's like a slap in the face.
Dr. J, we know there's a lot more to do with the process. We know you're asking for other review. We know there's appeal. I will not leave the story. I promise you that. I've never heard of a story like this. I hear of a lot of people being denied green cards where it doesn't seem straight, but not at your level of expertise when you're doing what you're doing right now. And the only response we got so far was, it's on her to prove it. I don't know what else you could do to prove it. And there's no
Right.
standard that seems to apply that you haven't met and beaten. So, Dr. J, thank you for what you're doing. And by the way, I know you won't stop doing it, even though the country went bad on you. And I appreciate that as an American and as somebody who is happy to call you a friend from what I've learned about you. Thank you for what you're doing, Dr. J. We will stay on the story. Please stay in touch.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Chris.